Have you ever felt like your own mind is turning against you? Like no matter how calm things are outside, inside, there's a storm you can't explain. You smile at work, talk to people, go through the motions, but there's a voice that never stops whispering what you're not, what you've lost, what might go wrong. And the worst part, it sounds like you. There's a kind of suffering that doesn't leave scars on the skin, only on the soul, and most people will never see it. But you do. You live with it. That quiet war between who you are and what your thoughts tell you. But what if your thoughts are not truth? What if they're just habits, patterns, things that can be unlearned? The Stoics believed the greatest battle wasn't with the world, but with the self. Not to destroy the mind, but to discipline it. Not to silence emotion, but to master it. This isn't about feeling better for a few minutes. It's about becoming someone who no longer gets controlled by the chaos inside. So stay with me. There's something in this video you were meant to hear. Number 1. You are not your thoughts. Have you ever had a moment where your own mind turned against you? You're walking down the street, everything looks fine, but suddenly a thought cuts through. I'm not good enough. They don't really care. I'll never make it. It comes out of nowhere. And just like that, your chest tightens, your breath shortens, and the rest of the day starts to blur. But ask yourself this: if you didn't choose that thought, why are you obeying it? This is where the Stoics drew the line between freedom and slavery, not in external chains, but in the mind. Epictetus said it clearly. It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. And what are our thoughts, if not judgments, interpretations, predictions, fears? You are not your judgments. You are not your fears. You are not the storm that passes through the sky. You are the sky itself. Imagine sitting by a window during a heavy rainstorm. Thunder rumbles, lightning flashes, but inside you're safe. You watch it happen, but you don't become the storm. That's what your relationship with your thoughts should be: watchful, steady, and separate. A negative thought is not a command. It's not a prophecy. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's just weather. It will pass. A man once came to a Stoic teacher and said, "My mind is full of fear and doubt. I feel broken." The teacher smiled and replied, "Then let's observe the one who feels broken. Who is he?" The man paused. "Me," he said. "But who's the one who sees him?" The man didn't answer. He just sat in silence, realizing the truth. The moment you can observe your thoughts, you prove they are not you. The moment you create that space, you gain power. That space, that distance, is your armor. A warrior doesn't fight every enemy that passes. He chooses which battles are worth his strength, and not every thought deserves to be fought. Some deserve to be ignored, others questioned. When a thought arises, write it down. They don't respect me. Fine. Now ask, is that true? Is that always true? What if it's just my fear talking? What would Marcus Aurelius have said? Probably something like, you have power over your mind, not outside events. And that includes the events inside your mind too. Think of your thoughts like travelers passing through a station. Some are loud, some are rude, some bring gifts, others try to pick your pockets. But you're the station master. You decide who gets to stay. Most people don't know this. They treat every thought like it's sacred. But you're here to learn the right way. And the right way is to pause, observe, and then decide. Let's bring this down to something even simpler. One powerful habit the Stoics practiced was labeling. Not in the way modern people label personalities or conditions, but as a form of clarity. Instead of saying I'm a failure, say I'm having a thought that I failed. That shift creates space. And in that space, you stop being the prisoner of your thoughts and start becoming their master. Here's a short story. A woman loses her job. Her first thought is, "I'm worthless." She almost believes it. But then she writes it down. She reads it slowly. Then she adds, "This is just a thought, not a truth." The next day she gets up, updates her resume, and starts building again. That's Stoic strength, not the absence of pain, but the refusal to bow to lies whispered by fear. Marcus wrote in Meditations, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But here's the secret. You choose the dye. You decide whether to let your thoughts stain your spirit or pass through like clouds over a mountain. And a warrior who knows this? He's no longer haunted. He becomes untouchable. So remember this. You are not the anxious thought. You are not the fear that whispers at 2 a.m. You are not the regret playing on loop. You are the awareness behind it all, calm, unshaken, waiting to rise. This is your first discipline, not to silence your mind, but to separate from it. Because once you do, you're no longer reacting, you're responding, you're no longer lost, you're aware. And from awareness, the rest begins. Now, let's take this clarity and move into the second truth. One that builds on this foundation and shows you how to use your mind instead of letting it use you. Number 2, stop arguing with reality. Have you ever caught yourself staring at the ceiling late at night, thinking, this isn't how it was supposed to go? Maybe it was the relationship that fell apart, the job you didn't get, or the one moment you can't stop replaying in your head. That quiet sentence, "This shouldn't have happened," is one of the heaviest chains we carry. Not because it's true, but because we keep dragging it through every day that follows. The Stoics taught that pain is real, but suffering, prolonged, tormenting suffering, is often our own doing. Epictetus said, "Do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go well." It sounds harsh at first, but it's not a call to pretend nothing hurts. It's a call to stop wasting our strength fighting what's already happened. There's a moment when your life breaks in a way you didn't expect. And then there's a choice. Do you argue with the crack, or do you learn to build something new from it? Imagine 2 travelers caught in a storm. One stands in the rain, fists clenched at the sky, shouting, "This isn't fair." The other silently pulls his coat tighter, lowers his head, and keeps walking. The difference between the two is not strength, it's wisdom. One wastes energy demanding a different reality. The other walks with the storm and outlasts it. That's the difference between a wounded mind and a disciplined one. A man I once knew spent years haunted by a failed business. Every day he'd say, "It should have worked. I did everything right." He lost sleep, lost friends, nearly lost himself. But one day, after rereading a passage from Marcus Aurelius, "If something is difficult for you to bear, do not think it unbearable," he changed the script. He stopped asking why it happened and started asking what he could do next. Within a year, he had built something new. Not perfect, but peaceful. Because this time, he wasn't dragging the past into the present. This is what the Stoics meant by amor fati, the love of fate. Not because fate is always kind, but because it's always real. To embrace reality is not weakness. It's the right way to power. If it happened, it was always going to happen. Your resistance won't rewrite the event, but your response can rewrite your life. Here's something you can start doing right now. Whenever your mind whispers, "This shouldn't have happened," pause, breathe, then say out loud, "But it did. So now what?" That single sentence is a sword. It cuts through helplessness and opens the door to action. It reminds you that you are not the victim of fate, you are the interpreter of it. A warrior doesn't stand still hoping the battlefield will change. He adapts, recalibrates, and moves forward with clarity, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. He understands that the only thing worse than a painful moment is reliving it 1,000 times through resistance. You weren't born to be stuck in what should have been. You were born to respond, to grow, to rebuild. So let that heartbreak teach you something about loyalty. Let that failure sharpen your discernment. Let that silence show you who you are without applause. Life will not apologize for what it brings, but it will reward those who stop demanding and start accepting. You are not here to rewrite the past. You are here to master the present. That is the essence of Stoic resilience. When you stop arguing with reality, you reclaim the energy to live. And with that reclaimed energy, we now turn to the next essential truth. One that teaches you how to master not just moments, but the inner momentum that shapes your entire day. Number 3, don't trust the first emotion. Have you ever felt a surge of anger so sudden it made your chest tighten, or a flash of fear that convinced you something terrible was about to happen, even when everything around you seemed fine? That first emotion, raw, loud, and urgent, can feel so real that you treat it like truth. But the Stoics knew better. The first emotion is not your enemy, but it's not your guide either. It's a spark, not a map. And if you move too fast, you burn instead of building. Marcus Aurelius, ruling the Roman Empire through war, betrayal, and sickness, reminded himself, the first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. Imagine that, a man carrying the fate of millions, still reminding himself to pause. That's the warrior mindset. Not someone who never feels, but someone who waits, watches, and chooses the right way to respond. Emotions are like waves. The first wave crashes hard. It might be anger, jealousy, fear, sadness, but if you stand firm and let it pass, clarity returns. The warrior learns to feel without reacting. He doesn't let the first blow of emotion dictate the entire battle. He studies the terrain. He listens to the silence underneath the noise. That's where real strength lives. Let's bring it to something familiar. Imagine you send a message to someone you care about. Hours pass. No reply. Your first thought, they're ignoring me. They don't care. That feeling grows. It starts painting stories, rewriting memories. But hours later, they finally respond, apologetic, explaining they were caught in an emergency. Suddenly, your entire reaction collapses. What changed? Not the truth. Just your patience. That's why the Stoics practice naming their emotions without letting those emotions rule them. You feel anger. Say, there is anger here. You feel fear. Say, fear is present, but I choose courage. You don't become the feeling, you observe it, like a fire you acknowledge without stepping into. This distance is not denial, it's command. It's the discipline that separates chaos from composure. Seneca once wrote, "A wise man is indifferent to everything which he cannot control." Your first emotion is not within your control, but what follows it is. That's where your discipline begins. That's where you stop being a slave to impulse and start becoming someone with authority over his own life. Another technique the Stoics used is called the view from above. When you're caught in emotion, imagine rising above your life, zooming out like a bird in flight. You see your city, your home, yourself, smaller and smaller until you realize the problem, the insult, the delay, is nothing but a drop in the vast river of time. This shift doesn't numb you, it frees you. You stop drowning in every ripple and you start navigating the current. There's a small sentence I want you to carry with you. Memorize it. Let me wait before I react. That sentence has saved friendships, marriages, reputations, and more importantly, it has saved people from betraying themselves in moments of emotion. Because there's always a cost when you let anger speak instead of reason. There's always regret when fear moves faster than wisdom. You are not weak for feeling. You are strong for staying still. The one who can feel a storm and still wait for the wind to settle, that's the one who walks with clarity. That's the warrior who doesn't get lured into battle every time emotion knocks. So the next time your chest tightens, your hands clench, or your heart races, don't ask, "What should I do?" Ask, "What am I feeling? Is this true? Is this final?" And then wait. Breathe. Let the emotion pass through you like wind through open windows. Don't close yourself off. Just don't let it take the wheel. And if this part of the message struck something in you, let it echo. Comment below with 2 simple words. I choose. Because that's what Stoicism gives you, the space between stimulus and response. The power not to be dragged, but to decide. And if you want more tools like this, subscribe. No pressure, just a quiet invitation to keep growing, one choice at a time. Now let's take this emotional clarity and move into the next truth, one that challenges how you see others and how you protect your peace. Number 4, rewrite the story you tell yourself. Have you ever been hurt by something small and then, hours later, realized it wasn't the thing itself that hurt you, it was what you thought it meant? Someone didn't reply to your message. Someone looked away during your story. Someone didn't include you. And suddenly, 1,000 silent voices start spinning in your head. They don't care about me. I'm not important. I'm always the one left out. But pause for a second. What actually happened, and what did your mind add to it? This is where most pain begins, not in what is, but in the meaning you attach to it. The Stoics understood this with striking clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That line holds the key to your freedom. You suffer not because of the event, but because of the story you built around it. And if you built it, you can take it apart. Imagine this. A man walks into work and his boss gives him a cold look. No hello, no smile. Instantly his thoughts spiral. She's angry with me. I must have failed. I'm going to get fired. The whole day is ruined. But later he hears his boss just found out her mother's in the hospital. The cold look. It had nothing to do with him, but he had already let the false story control his energy, his confidence, his mood. That's how easily we turn pain into identity. What Stoicism trains you to do is separate the event from the interpretation. A warrior of the mind doesn't rush to conclusions. He observes. He writes down the facts like a scribe collecting evidence. For example, my message wasn't replied to for 2 days. That's the fact. No emotion, no story. Then the mind jumps in. They must be avoiding me. That's the interpretation. Now here's where power begins. You step in and ask, is that true? Could there be another reason? And often there is. People get busy, people get overwhelmed, and sometimes it's not even about you. That's why the Stoics taught us to become editors of our internal narrative. Your brain might be a storyteller, but you are the one who approves what goes to print. If you let every fearful, insecure thought get published as truth, you poison your peace. But if you pause, if you become the calm observer instead of the frantic believer, you begin to choose your story. You begin to live on your own terms. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," and how true that is. The rejection doesn't last long, but the echo of "I'll never be enough" can torment you for years unless you stop feeding it, unless you rewrite it, not with lies, but with a disciplined eye for truth, with perspective, with courage. Let me give you something practical. When a painful moment hits, don't retreat. Don't explode. Instead, grab a page, write down exactly what happened, nothing more. Then, on a separate line, write what your mind is saying, and then challenge it like a philosopher cross-examining a claim. Ask, is this the only explanation? Is this helpful? Would Marcus or Epictetus believe this thought, or would they laugh at how easily I gave away my peace? In that moment, you stop being a passive character in your own life and start becoming the author. And not just any author, a wise one, a quiet one. A warrior who doesn't swing at every shadow, but watches, understands, and then writes what is true. You'll notice something as you practice this. Your mind will still try to write the same tired scripts, but they'll feel weaker, less convincing. And eventually, you won't even need to challenge them. You'll just smile and move on because you've trained yourself to tell better stories. So when life throws confusion your way, don't collapse into meaning. Rise into clarity. Separate fact from fiction. And remember, your suffering is not a reflection of your reality. It's often a result of the wrong story. Choose the right one, and let's carry that sharpened awareness into the next truth, where we explore how stillness itself becomes your greatest weapon. Number 5. Your environment shapes your mind. Look around you, not just with your eyes, but with your awareness. What kind of world have you built yourself into when you sit in silence? What voices echo in your mind? And where did those voices come from? Because the truth is, most people's inner chaos isn't born from within. It's absorbed. You inhale it through the rooms you live in, the people you speak to, the screens you scroll. And without realizing it, your thoughts become a reflection of your environment. The Stoics were precise about this. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." This isn't just advice on friendship. It's a warning on spiritual hygiene. If your mind is a garden, then every person, habit, and object around you is either planting weeds or watering fruit. And if your environment is filled with noise, clutter, and shallow voices, your inner dialogue will mirror that mess. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. A man wakes up to loud music from a neighbor's apartment. His room is dim and cluttered. His phone is the first thing he touches. He scrolls through videos that make him feel envious, behind, outraged. He walks into a kitchen with dirty dishes and a TV blaring some celebrity drama. Later that day, he's snapping at people, anxious, unmotivated, unfocused. But it wasn't just his mood. It was the accumulation of a polluted environment, one that whispered the wrong things into his mind from the moment he opened his eyes. Now, picture the opposite. Another man wakes up to a quiet space. His room is clean. His first moment is spent stretching, breathing. He opens a book, not a screen. He speaks with people who talk about ideas, not other people. He walks outside for a few minutes, and because his surroundings are clear, his thoughts are clear. Not perfect, but calm, not numb, just centered. That's not romanticism. That's Stoicism applied. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. And what determines what you think about? Often, it's what surrounds you. You can't expect peace if you sleep in noise, feed on drama, and live in disorder. Discipline isn't just about the mind. It starts in the environment. The way you live shapes the way you think. It's not that a warrior never faces chaos. He just doesn't sleep in it. He builds an inner fortress, and that begins with the walls around him. The right way is not about isolation or perfection. It's about choosing what deserves your energy, your attention, your presence. Because every item on your shelf, every person in your orbit, every sound in your ear, it's all shaping the voice you'll hear when things go quiet. So ask yourself, who drains you? Who sharpens you? What do you hear every day that makes you feel heavier? What do you allow into your space that subtly tells you you're not enough? The Stoics would not have tolerated living among emotional pollution. Simplicity wasn't just aesthetic. It was medicine. It was clarity. Their homes were bare, their conversations direct, their circles intentional. Try this. Go 1 week without gossip, noise, and meaningless scrolling. Clean your space. Walk without your phone. Unfollow content that doesn't align with who you're becoming. Spend more time in places where silence is allowed. You'll begin to notice a shift. Not because your mind has magically changed, but because you've stopped poisoning it without knowing. Your thoughts don't exist in isolation. They feed on something. If the soil around you is toxic, the mind will mirror it. But if you take care of the ground, remove the weeds, let light in, plant what matters, your inner voice begins to change. It becomes less reactive, more reflective, less chaotic, more composed. And that is the mark of someone living with intention, not reaction. So if your mind has felt heavy lately, don't just look inward. Look around. What needs to be removed? What needs to be invited in? Sometimes the most powerful change you can make isn't to your thoughts, but to the room you're thinking in. And with that awareness, we now move to something just as powerful, how daily rituals of silence and solitude can cleanse your mind in ways the world never will. Number 6. You're tired, not broken. Have you ever sat alone, head in your hands, wondering why everything feels heavier than usual, why a small comment stings too deeply, why your thoughts won't quiet, why you keep replaying conversations that didn't even matter yesterday? And somewhere inside, a voice whispers, "What's wrong with me?" But maybe nothing is wrong. Maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're just tired. Not tired in the way a nap can fix, but the kind of exhaustion that seeps into the mind. The kind of fatigue that comes from too many responsibilities, too much noise, too little time to breathe. Your heart's still beating, your mind still thinking, but your spirit feels like it's running on fumes. And in that state, your thoughts betray you, not because you're weak, but because your strength has been drained. Marcus Aurelius faced this, a ruler of an empire, a soldier in battle, a man who knew the weight of both external war and inner silence. He reminded himself, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. But how do you revoke pain when you haven't eaten, haven't rested, haven't allowed yourself 1 hour of stillness? How do you expect clarity from a mind that hasn't been allowed to breathe? Stoicism doesn't ask you to suppress fatigue. It invites you to respect it. Even Epictetus, known for his strict views on discipline, said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." But what if your mind is too full, too wired, too worn out to learn anything at all? The warrior who wins does not fight every day without pause. He retreats to gather strength. He understands that exhaustion distorts judgment, and distorted judgment leads to unnecessary suffering. Picture this. A young woman spends weeks juggling deadlines, expectations, family demands. Her sleep is short, meals rushed, phone always buzzing. One evening, a friend forgets to call her back. Immediately, her thoughts spiral. She doesn't care. I'm not worth the effort. But in truth, what hurt her wasn't the call, it was the fact that her inner resources were already depleted. In a calmer state, she would have smiled and moved on, but in exhaustion, every small thing feels like a mountain. This is the danger of ignoring your limits. You start believing lies whispered by a mind that just needs rest. You assume your negative thoughts are signs of truth, but they're often just signals of fatigue. You think you've lost your discipline, but really, you've lost your fuel. That's why the Stoics emphasized routine, clean habits, silence, early sleep, solitary walks. Not as moral virtue, but as emotional preparation. You cannot carry a heavy mind with a tired body and expect peace. So if your thoughts are turning against you, don't always rush to analyze them. Step back. Have you eaten real food today? Have you walked without your phone? Have you cleaned the space you wake up in? Have you allowed your mind time without stimulation, without noise? You don't always need to fix the thought. Sometimes you need to fix the conditions around the thought. Start with something small. Tonight, sleep early without guilt. Tomorrow, walk for 20 minutes without a destination. Write down what's crowding your mind, then close the notebook and step away. Say no to one thing, not to prove a point, but to honor your limits. Stop treating your exhaustion like a character flaw. Start treating it like the body's quiet wisdom. It's not weakness to rest. It's the right way to return to strength. Because when you're rested, you respond. When you're drained, you react. And the difference between those two defines the quality of your life. The warrior who stays in the fight without pause eventually breaks. But the one who retreats with intention returns sharper, steadier, and unstoppable. So the next time your mind feels like it's caving in, don't ask what's wrong with you. Ask what you've been denying yourself. Often, the cure is not another thought. It's less. Less noise, less doing, less pushing. And that's where we're headed next, toward the quiet power of stillness and the strength that comes not from doing more, but from learning how to simply be. Number 7, gratitude kills negativity. Have you ever had one of those days where everything just feels off, like a dull heaviness you can't explain? Nothing terrible happened, but somehow everything seems a little darker. You look around, and all you can see are flaws. What's missing? What's unfair? What's not enough? The mind narrows, like a tunnel closing in. That's what negativity does. It shrinks your vision until all you can see is lack. But what if that darkness isn't a sign of failure or weakness? What if it's just a signal that you've forgotten to see what's still here? The Stoics knew this. They lived through war, exile, betrayal, and sickness, but they practiced a discipline far deeper than strength. It was the discipline of perspective. Seneca once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In one sentence, he revealed the root of most inner misery. It's not the absence of blessings that hurts us most. It's the blindness to them. And the remedy? Gratitude, not as a mood, not as a fleeting thought, but as a Stoic practice, a tool, a weapon. Gratitude in the Stoic sense is not about forced optimism. It's not pretending you're happy when you're not. It's seeing clearly what is already present, already working, already strong. It's pausing to say, yes, things are hard, but look, this breath, this roof, this moment, this lesson, I still have these. It breaks the tunnel vision. It widens the lens. It helps you reclaim reality from the hands of despair. Picture a man walking home after being laid off from his job. His thoughts race. I'm a failure. I'll never recover. The world feels hostile. He passes people laughing on the street and feels even more alone. But then something interrupts him. a quiet awareness. I'm still walking. I have 2 legs that carry me. I have a friend I can call tonight. I have time, space, and my next breath. It's not dramatic. It doesn't erase the problem. But it breaks the spiral. It shifts his state from powerlessness to presence. And from that presence, new strength rises. Gratitude is not a soft feeling. It's a sharpened lens. It's the choice to see what's here rather than mourn what isn't. That's the right way to think clearly, not by denying reality, but by refusing to let pain define all of it. Even Marcus Aurelius, emperor of a vast and war-torn empire, wrote to himself, "Don't hanker after what you don't have. Instead, fix your attentions on the finest and best that you have, and imagine how much you would long for these if they weren't in your possession." These aren't the words of a man trying to feel good. They're the words of a man anchoring himself in what is real, so he could carry a heavier burden. Gratitude kills negativity because it reminds you, you are not empty, you are not abandoned, you are not without tools, you are breathing, you have survived, you have a mind that can reflect. You have a voice that can speak kindness, even if it's just to yourself. These are not small things, they are the foundation of all power. And when life gets hardest, when you feel alone, overlooked, misunderstood, practice the quiet rebellion of gratitude. Ask yourself, what am I taking for granted right now? Write down 3 small things, 1 line, that's all. It could be a warm drink, a beam of sunlight, a memory that still gives you courage. Don't just do this when things are good. Do it especially when things are not, because that's when it matters most. There's a reason warriors are trained to find calm in chaos. Not because chaos isn't dangerous, but because panic blinds you to the weapons already in your hand. Gratitude is that weapon. Not loud, not flashy, but it cuts through the fog like nothing else. It reminds you that the storm isn't everything, that there's still solid ground beneath you, still clarity if you know where to look. So make it a ritual. Morning or night, write down what's still working. Speak it aloud if you have to. Let it echo in your space. This is not just a mental habit. This is soul maintenance. This is how you stay anchored when the waves rise. Your mind doesn't need more fear. It needs proof of the good. And you already have it. You are not the storm. You are the one who survives it. You are the one who grows in it. You are the one who can still say thank you, even through clenched teeth, and find strength in that act alone. When everything around you tries to convince you that you're lacking, not enough, too late, look at what you've made it through. Look at what you still carry. That's not failure. That's not weakness. That's the mark of a warrior who remembers what matters. This is how we end the spiral. Not by fighting every thought, but by grounding ourselves in what's real. Gratitude doesn't erase the pain. It just reminds you that pain doesn't get to be the whole story. And that shift, that's where transformation begins. That's how negativity dies, not with force, but with clarity, with truth. With the quiet, disciplined choice to keep noticing what's good again and again until the mind no longer forgets. If you're still here, it means you've already begun. Clarity starts with noticing. Practice it daily, quietly, and your mind will grow stronger than the noise. Comment mental clarity, subscribe if this spoke to you, and stay tuned for what's coming next.